Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Community Roundtable for Roll20. Today is February 10th, 2021. We did it. I'm Kenton Hansen, Product Director for Roll20. I've got with me Amber, our Director of Marketing. Hi.
Hi, that's me.
And Dave, we've practiced this a whole lot, and not really. Dave Arata is our Software Development Manager.
Hi, everyone.
Great. Well, let's get started. Normally these it's 2021, so we're doing everything completely the same as we used to, unless we want to change it on the fly. But the agenda tonight is we're going to go over a couple happenings, news, announcements that have come up in January into February 2021. We're going to talk about the things that have happened in that amount of time and since the last roundtable, and then get to some pre-submitted questions. And as always, we're happy to take your questions in chat. So please type your questions in there, and our moderators will get them to us, and we'll be happy to answer those for you too. So first, let's just talk about what happened since the last Roll20 Community Roundtable. A couple things we released in January. A couple page menu updates. That page menu in the virtual tabletop has been getting quite a few small quality of life enhancements, building towards some really great things. We changed the card uploader over in your collections tab. You can bulk upload bunches and bunches of cards a whole lot faster than you used to be able to do that. We released our mobile app into closed beta, which is one of the reasons why Dave is here to talk to us tonight. We'll get to a lot more about that later. And we've revamped our API infrastructure to better support our growing user base at Roll20. That's been rolling out kind of slowly and making sure that it's tested well, but we're at 100% of serving on the new infrastructure right now. The Roll20 Reserve is new this month. Not new this month, but there's a new Roll20 Reserve, as always, for pro subscribers. You can check the welcome page right as you log in, or go to roll20.net/reserve and claim the Frosty Fey Realm pack, looking nice and chilly, which it is here in my neck of the woods as well. And this happened towards the end of the year, but just to make sure everybody knows, our Dungeons and Dragons catalog our backlog is complete. We launched Out of the Abyss, the Dungeon Master's Guide, Sword Coast Adventures Guide, and we've kept day and date with Wizards of the Coast releases since then too. Amber has some notes from the community to share with us.
A couple things that we had noted for 2020 were our fundraising for Code 2040. Code 2040 is an organization that works to break down racial barriers in tech, and as part of our Black Lives Matter initiative, we said that we'd match funds up to $50,000 as we fundraised during some of our streams and through other initiatives for Code 2040. So we've hit $26,000 as part of like our Rollvember initiative. If you watched any of those streams, if you didn't already, they're on YouTube and you can catch them. There's some really wonderful streams there. You can still donate to our Tiltify link. For Code 2040, we'll continue matching funds up to $50,000 until we hit that number. And we're really excited about that partnership. Also, I've been posting in the pro forums on Roll20 to just let pro users know what's going on, what's coming out next, and sort of just posted a summary of 2020 and some of our roadmap for 2021. So I think there'll be a link posted in chat for you guys there about how to reach. And feel free to shout comments at me there if you don't get a chance to ask questions tonight. And well, don't shout, be nice, but ask me questions there and I'll do what I can to get to them.
Speaking of roadmaps, things coming out in the very near future. As I mentioned, the Roll20 Reserve is a program for pro users where every month you get to claim something new to use on the Roll20 virtual tabletop. And this month it's that Frosty Fey Realm wonderful art, looks so great and is really cool. For non-English users, Roll20 is translated into like 17 different languages, and it's really cool that we get to support gaming across oceans and borders. And as part of that, we have some non-English, some French is one of the first kind of landing pages that we're going to have to help connect people to Roll20 that's coming out relatively soon. And we're always working on ways to better serve our users in that way. Updated dynamic lighting is, of course, receiving a bunch of attention. And right now on the dev server, so pro users can go kick those tires, is the adjustable dim light. So you can actually set how bright or dim that is on a per light basis. Really cool. Another enhancement that's coming from the updated dynamic lighting feature. The other thing is the jagged lines. We're optimizing those edges of where light is shed to make sure that those are nice and smooth and crisp. And always bug fixes. One of them is moving multiple tokens that was just released, excuse me. Moving multiple tokens could cause the mask to be really built pretty quickly, and we have a fix out on production for that. So live right now, that bug is fixed. Let's see. Taking a breath here. We did a big survey of our user base, and we actually found that one of the bigger problems that people faced when trying to play games on Roll20 or just anywhere was getting that schedule together. I actually saw a joke on social media today about how someone was making a wish on a monkey's paw that every D&D game would that was scheduled would always happen no matter what, and the bad things that would happen. It was hilarious. Social media is so funny sometimes. Good, excellent comment, Kenton. But scheduling, right? Scheduling is hard. So we have a team who's been working on the Schedule Your Next Game, or SING as we call it, project. It brings the scheduling features that already exist in Roll20. Those are enhanced and brought to the forefront and organize your games in some really cool ways. That is out on the dev server now too, for pro users to kick those tires and see what it's all about. I could talk about mobile, but we have Dave here with us, so I'm just going to let him fill that in.
Thanks, Ken. Part of my role here at Roll20 is the product owner for the mobile team, and I've been working with that team now for a while, and we're really proud of what we've been doing and able to release as a closed beta to the user base. We've got that working now, and we're receiving a lot of great feedback from what we've built, and this way we can refine and polish it and get it ready for a production release. We're going to be moving into an open beta soon, where we're going to be asking more of our users, our pro users, to gain access to the early access features for beta. And also we are scaling up our team to work on more features for mobile. Right now we've got some features built around D&D 5e, and we're going to be building it out more for our other games on Roll20. So now that I kind of gave some of the feature points, we're going to screen share and show some of the stuff we have going on in mobile. So let me set that up real quick. Great. So this is the welcome screen, or what we like to call our My Games screen. So this is the first screen that a user sees after they log into our mobile app. We'll show you your games sorted most recently by what you've played. So you can see here, there's a nice little list of some of my most recent games. Some of the games, when there's plenty of games on Roll20, and sometimes some people spend a lot more time with setting them up. But if you don't have all that imagery set up, we do give some new nice artwork for some default images. Then there's some stuff coming in from modules that I have set up in my games. So if we go into a game like this community roundtable game, I can see all the characters I have access to. So I have my Fiona character here, and I could tap into that character, and that pulls up my D&D 5e character sheet. So this is something that we still have in progress. We've got a few things implemented. You could see some stuff like AC and initiative, HP. We've also got some interactive elements. I can roll for my abilities, my saving throws, or my skills right now. So let's just say, I'm playing in that game, and the GM tells me I gotta roll for an intimidation. I can just tap on here, and you can see that roll result will pop right up in the mobile app. And that same roll is happening on the VTT as well. So it's just like as if I rolled on the web app. Same thing can happen for any of these other ones, like maybe a strength check. See that one come up, or maybe a saving throw. I open up the saving throw menu and I'll do a dexterity roll. And there's all the different types of rolls we can do right now. Like I said, there's a lot of work that's been done, and there's a lot more work to do, and that's what we'll be working on through the beta and as we get closer and closer to production and release. And hope you all enjoy it when we get there.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dave. I like to reward the people who show up live and ask questions. And it looks like Shadow Walk, our good buddy, the Aaron there, asked what platforms will be supported on the mobile app when it's released.
Yeah, so right now it's supported on both iOS and Android. I was just showing it right now from an iPhone, but we'll be supporting both phones and tablets as well.
Excellent. Yeah,
okay,
Amber.
It's my turn. Yeah. So one of the things that we did this week, was it last week? The time doesn't mean anything anymore. We recently just launched a new blog for Roll20. So I'm really excited about this. We have been since 2012 when Roll20 was a Kickstarter little in the VTT universe. And now we've all grown up and we're on a self-hosted site on the main Roll20 site. So really excited about that. All the old blog posts have been ported over, and new articles up there about updated dynamic lighting, different modules you can use with UDL. We're going to start having some more interviews up with different content creators, community members. So, check it out. Let us know what you think. I'm really proud of the work that the marketing team's done on that. Just also a reminder that we put out our release notes once a week, so at least once a week, so that you can get informed on whatever's new on the dev server, whatever's new on the production server. So you can check the changelog out over on our help center. We've got a link here for you. And I've got some notes about licensing releases as well. So Wordlings recently was launched. We're really excited about this partnership with Renegade. More to come from Roll20 and Renegade working together, but this was the first of our launches together. So please take a minute to play that. It's a really family-friendly game from Renegade. So I think that it's nice for younger audiences, or if you just want something lighter to play with your regular crew. We've got pre-orders live for the next D&D release, which is Candlekeep. We're very excited about that one. I know a lot of people are excited about that one. We just released the updated Lost Mine of Phandelver 2.0. So there are some changes in the new Lost Mine of Phandelver. There's the addition of compendium integration, and everybody who's already purchased Lost Mine of Phandelver was automatically gifted the new version. So there's lots of information on the blog about that, but feel free to poke around in there. You can test out updated dynamic lighting in 2.0. I know that that's working really nicely. Chaosium has been doing some Roll20 releases beyond what we were producing for them, which is really nice. They just released Deadlight and Other Dark Turns bundle for more Call of Cthulhu adventures. Zweihander just released the revised core rulebook. So we're very excited to be partnering with them on that. And Evil Hat was supposed to release Thirsty Sword Lesbians next week, but all of the lesbians were too thirsty to wait. So they're not waiting till Valentine's Day, and they came out this week instead. So thank you, Evil Hat, for that nice early Valentine's Day gift. And, as usual, we have a weekly marketplace roundup. You can check that out on the blog. But there's tons and tons of marketplace releases coming up. So if you're not looking to do all the setup work yourself, if you just want to jump into a game, just keep an eye on the homepage for marketplace. What else is going on? We have a lot of live streams. Next week is going to be the premiere of a partnership between Roll20 and Rivals of Waterdeep. Sharif is going to be leading a new crew running Kids on Bikes, which is one of my favorite sort of lighter, casual RPGs. The really cool thing to me about this is that he's going to be running GM prep streams before the shows, so you'll be able to get to see how he's setting everything up. I really like seeing the behind the scenes work when people are not working from a module, to see just their thought process behind how they're going to run the game. The Chaos Initiative crew, our normal Livestream is still running Icewind Dale, so that's exciting. But at the same time, Elf and Abria have been working on GM prep for a Star Wars campaign. So that new series is going to start on Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific, and they're going to continue to co-GM the stream on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Indoor Recess recently wrapped up Mythic Odyssey of Theros last night. The finale is going to be up on YouTube pretty soon, if it's not already there. I'm not sure yet. They're going to take a break, and then they'll be back with Katie May leading a whole new adventure. There was a little teaser trailer, I know, that came out on Twitter last night. So yeah, those guys are always fun. Indie Showcase is still going strong. They've had some really amazing episodes lately. Tuesdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific is where you can catch them. They're going to be here on Roll20 Twitch, and then you can always catch the episodes afterwards on YouTube. Next week's going to be Humblewood, so stay tuned for that. We just wrapped up our staff game of Humblewood, and it was very fun. Can't wait to see what creatures they're putting out there. The Burn Bright After Midnight adventure also just wrapped this week. So Celeste ran our amazing crew through some Burn Bright content. If you want to check that out, it's available in the marketplace. And there are many, many adventures that Celeste has run us through, a lot of GM prep content as well on YouTube. And last week, Tabletop Table Talk went over rollable tables or macros with Gabe. And this week, Gabe's going to be talking to Sharif about the upcoming Kids on Bike stream that I mentioned. So that's going to be Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific on Roll20 Twitch right here.
That is so much content, so many hours, so amazing.
We've been working.
Yeah, and I can see our Bunny is producing our stream right now. She's the one who does a lot of this. You all can't see her, but I can see her nodding her head emphatically, underlined and
seeing me list out all of her work. She typed it all out, so I would have to read it all. See all the work I've been doing?
I love it. Bunny's wonderful. Bunny makes this whole show possible too. So it's like super meta, right? Like that's how the sausage is made. There, within that too, right? Like there's so much Roll20 community that happens within that. There's a couple people that we really want to single out as along with Bunny as being important to that community. Devin Rue has been great on the marketplace, creating some really great content and putting that out there. For all of us to see and use for sure. I see the map coming up in the virtual tabletop behind us. The Esper Genesis Charactermancer is going to be coming out towards the end of March. And Gabe got to show that off a little bit in Tabletop Talk. Did I just say that a second ago, or did Amber just say that a second ago? Feels like
I was talking about Sharif. No, this was a whole different thing. Esper Genesis walkthrough with Rich was like, I don't know. It was at least a few weeks ago, something like that.
Great. Yeah, and just really great stuff happening there. Esper Genesis is such a cool system, especially if you know 5th edition and you really like 5th edition, but you want to do Star Wars or another intellectually different property or a different intellectual property. Nope, stumbling. Gonna move right on. We got some pre-prepared questions here, and we didn't decide who's going to ask and who's going to answer. So, Amber, do you want to ask or do you want to answer?
Oh, I'm asking. I'm not answering anything. I'm only answering on the forums. Okay, so question here from Maroon69. When will Pathfinder 2 Troubles in Otari be on the marketplace? So, and they also said, keep up all the awesome work. That's so nice.
Thanks so much. I will pass that on to the people who do the hard work for sure. We just recently started all that hard work on Troubles on Otari, and we don't have a release date yet, but we will keep everyone posted via social media. We're excited to bring this to the marketplace and support everyone on their Pathfinder 2 beginner box experience. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, I have more Pathfinder questions for you now.
I'm ready.
Jimmy would like to know about any and all of the upcoming Pathfinder 2 releases, specifically the Abomination Vaults, Lost Omens, Bestiary 2, or no, Bestiary 3, excuse me, and any Pathfinder Society scenarios.
Sure. So we love we love Paizo, we love Pathfinder Second Edition, and we're really happy to have that partnership and passionate about working with them. The priorities that we have in marketplace content are connected to the stuff that you've shown us you like the most by buying them and talking about them. Rule books, adding to the character sheet with like integrating the alchemist into the sheet. Building out the character mancer tools to make creating your characters just that much easier, which I'll talk about a little bit in just a little bit. And in addition to Troubles in Atari, like I just talked about there. So you can look forward to the Bestiary 3, which is going to launch on day and date with Paizo's release in March. And the Abomination Vaults adventure paths are not something that we're currently working on right now. Paizo did put out a tweet that said something different than that, but it was confusion, and we're sorry for that confusion. But happy to continue Pathfinder Second Edition in those ways for sure.
Okay, I have more opportunities to grill you here. Is there an upgrade that makes Wild Magic Sorcerer available?
Wild Magic Sorcerer is available in the once you purchase the Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition Player's Handbook. That's that same book, the PHB, is available in the Dungeons and Dragons Players Bundle, as well as the DM Starter Bundle. And any game that has the Player's Handbook in the compendium has the Player's Handbook shared in the compendium, or if you own it, you can use it. But if your GM or the game creator has that book and it's shared in the compendium, which compendium sharing has a link, I think, that we'll put in chat to show you how to do that, you can have access to those things too.
Okay.
I'm ready
more
for my
marketplace.
next question. Yeah.
The people demand more Call of Cthulhu. They are looking for any more books like Mass of, I'm gonna not say this properly, Nyarlathotep.
Yeah. No, that's how I would try to pronounce it too. And I was going to do the Ryla, but I don't think that's how. Anyway, lots more Call of Cthulhu content coming in Roll20, on Roll20, to Roll20, in, on, and around Roll 2021. Goodness. We're working on 2 new Call of Cthulhu 7th edition books added to the marketplace, and Chaosium, as you mentioned earlier, Amber, has been rolling out additional adventure releases such as Deadlight and Other Dark Turns. The Deadlight and Other Dark Turns bundle, that was just released at the beginning of February.
Yeah, it's nice. It speeds things up because they're investing in converting content too.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been mentioned on the to-do list, but are there any current plans or time frame to update older modules to include compendium and character mancer support?
Yeah, Lost Mine was the first module released on Roll20, and at the end of January, it became the first 5th edition module to receive a significant update with the 2.0 re-release. While we don't have additional 2.0 releases in the pipeline right now, we are actively working on adding in the support for the missing back catalog features that were in the marketplace items. In the things that are released on the marketplace, but weren't added to the compendium, because at that point, literally the compendium as it exists now didn't exist then. So adding those features into those previous things. We'd love to know what do you want to see upgraded and get supported next? Curse of Strahd is probably the next one by the end of February. But what do you want to see after that?
Yeah. It's helpful to have priorities like that from the users, so we know which ways to start doing the updates. Okay, next one. This one's from Jordan, who started out with a nice note saying, love the Roll20 reserve items, and would also like to know if we can give an update on Character Mancer for Pathfinder 2nd edition. Yeah,
Jordan, I agree. Roll20 Reserve is great, and I want to give a shout out to Brass Badger Workshop, who has our current Frost Fae Realms. Did I say that right? From memory. Good job, Kenton. So again, thanks, pro users. You can go claim that roll20.net/reserve. As to the Pathfinder or the Character Mancer for Pathfinder 2nd edition, we are working on it. It is something that is currently in progress. You've heard me say that on this show multiple times before. But we're setting it up for success by taking our time and making sure it gets done right. While that happens, of course, Paizo continues to put out good content, and we want to make sure that that content gets wrapped in. And so, yeah, there it is. Let me make sure I answered this question completely. You can see that progress through things like drag and drop for monsters, for items, and for spells that are now live in the VTT and functional on the Pathfinder 2nd Edition sheet. That is all groundwork that's needed for a Charactermancer on a system that's crunchy, like Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Classes and ancestries are going to be integrated in the next step, and that gets us a whole lot closer. But we don't want to have, I don't want to give you a date now that we won't be able to hit, given all those other things. So, yeah.
Okay, more Pathfinder. On the character sheet in 2nd edition, can we get a button to go from NPC to player character versions of the sheet?
Yes.
Really easy answer here.
That it's already there. Thank you. That was a bump and a set, and here comes the spike. I don't know if volleyball metaphors work here or not, but when you're looking at the Pathfinder 2nd Edition official character sheet by Roll20, make sure it's that one. If you go to the options tab in the character sheet and check the bottom right corner, you should see change sheet type, and you can choose NPC, and that'll create an NPC. That'll give you a create an NPC prompt, and there you go. Charactermancer will be created for, or sorry, when the Charactermancer is there, it'll give you a prompt when you create the sheet, so you can choose which one you want to do there. So,
all right, we're moving on from Pathfinder. Now we're going to talk about Starfinder. There's so many questions about Starfinder. People want to know what kind of support it's going to get in 2021. AP's Charactermancer, say all the things.
Yeah, we are almost done with the Charactermancer in Starfinder, and we're still launching the core books day and date with Paizo as we do it at the same way that we do with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And you can see those. You'll be able to see that on the blog, our newly launched blog, as soon as it's available.
Great. There's a little sub question here that asks about data about how many active users we have and what games they play. And the OR report, we're a little bit overdue on the OR report. It should be coming out probably this week, if not next week. And then you'll be able to get all the information about what people have been playing through Q4 of 2020. And some additional updates that'll tell you a little bit about how much we grew in 2020. So look for that in the next week on the blog. We've got some bug questions. This one is, when will the Never Whisper default setting bug be fixed? Right now, the Whisper toggle is the best choice as the default sets to public roles, but it isn't an obvious answer to new GMs who keep asking about this.
So we've heard of this bug, but we haven't been able to reproduce it to squash it in the right way. Reminder that roll20.net/help can submit that. We'll ask for some reproduction steps to get that done. And yeah.
The next question is about when Roll20 will be more stable for voice chat. It seems like this person's been experiencing some lag and needing to reconnect a few times.
Voice and video chat is critical to the experience on Roll20. I know that there are other alternatives to do that. I mean, right now we're doing this with Google Meet, and just earlier today, while we were at work. I mean, we're at work now, but earlier we were complaining about Google Meet. Peer-to-peer networks are always difficult, and this is one of the places where the most gains can sometimes be found between your computer and the router that you're on. Getting those connections amplifies your chances a whole lot better. However, with all that said, we are intent on investing into the voice and video chat infrastructure. We've actually increased our infrastructure around that it takes to connect those peer-to-peer connections throughout 2020, and our user base has we continue to upgrade those infrastructures in serious ways. Those words were okay.
We have more coming in this year. We're investing more
Yeah.
into WebRTC work this year. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think my games have been a lot better, but yeah, I mean, the internet is taxed right now. Okay, so next question is about QA. Does Roll20 use any sort of automated testing, which I think sets you up really nicely to talk about our new QA hires?
Yeah, we do. Hales is a new hire that we announced in the Proform thread, I think, earlier this month. But she's been with us for a couple months at least. I know more than a couple months. It seems like we've been friends forever. She did a lot of work to get us get our automated testing suite in a much better place. And we made a big push during 2020 to get that up and running. We have those automated systems up and in place and in our development pipeline on a number of systems. And we're going to be adding a whole lot of test coverage throughout the year and forever. Forever and ever. Every time we make another commit, it has more it's adding to the test coverage. However, one area that is very difficult to get automated testing running in a really good way, and shoot, I don't know why I'm answering this. Dave could answer this better than I could. But the virtual tabletop is one of the more difficult areas to add that automated testing. And I know that I've seen the discussions around the suite that's going to be required for that coming to a decision point and moving forward. So Dave, do you want to add anything there, or did I do such a good job that you don't think you need to?
I think you always do a great job, Kenton. No, I think that that kind of lines it up best. Is we're always evolving and growing platform. It's something we're investing in both from a time perspective and a team perspective. Being on the development team, I know it's becoming more of a focus for our team, and something like the mobile app that we've been building from the ground up with automated testing in mind. So that has, I think, over 90% test coverage right now with automated tests.
Yeah. Do you know what testing suite or testing automated testing technologies we're looking at for the virtual tabletop off the top of your head?
I know that there's been a few spoken about. One in particular is one called Selenium. Mm-hmm. But I believe some of the difficulties around the VTT in particular is because it uses graphics libraries like WebGL, which kind of add more complexities than a more traditional website would. And so those are some of the things that the team has to think through and understand and figure out.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much, Dave.
All right, we're moving on to dynamic lighting.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm just throwing them at you.
I'll be
okay.
Good.
So this person wants to know when updated dynamic lighting's performance will be improved.
So, go ahead.
Well, they stated that they felt that it improved with the 1.0 update that we released in December or January, but seems to still be behind legacy lighting. So if you have anything to add there.
Yeah, the 1.0 was a very significant improvement to the rendering performance, and the optimization that was done in that 1.0 update was pretty significant. I don't have numbers to quote you, but it was double digits as far as percentage of improvement. Every release, every update that we have at this point gets some of that optimization built into it as well too. So we're going to see incremental improvements over time. I'm a little bit surprised to hear that Jared is seeing it lag behind legacy lighting, but legacy lighting with Advanced Fog of War for sure would be no comparison there. But I'm not going to tell him his experience or tell them their experience is wrong. With each enhancement, it's going to get progressively better, and we're getting into the point now where we're doing those performance updates, and we're able to make performance even better than it was before and really focus on that. One thing particularly that we're working right now is reducing the amount of data transfer that happens with Explorer mode on, which right now it's a whole lot of data transfer, and we're going to reduce that with some fancy methods that I could repeat the names of, but don't fully understand and just count as magic.
All right. So this person wants to know when UDL is going to be completed. They want to know when it's going to have all the same functionality and performance as LDL.
So
legacy dynamic lighting, I should say.
Yeah, I would say that updated dynamic lighting already has some pretty significant features that are beyond what Legacy, the feature set that Legacy ever had. There are a few cases where Legacy was created with settings that let you accomplish one thing that it wasn't necessarily designed to do, and that's totally cool. That's software. That's, you know, Ivory Soap floats and they didn't know it. Anyway, that's a business school analogy that I shouldn't even break into here, but I did. My point is that updated dynamic lighting has a whole bunch of really cool stuff built into it now. It's getting more. Adjustable dim light is a whole other aspect that is on the dev server right now. Pro users can go kick the tires on that. The big things, jagged lines on the shadows, that's being worked on right now to smooth those out. I mentioned the bugs where moving multiple tokens could remove the mask. We have plans for a couple of the big suggestion and idea forum posts, like a dusk mode is what it's been called there. Something to where the global illumination or daylight mode can be adjusted to it, so it's not just bright light. And then we've got some plans for taking the same aspects of night vision, being able to choose what color the night vision renders in and giving that to light as well. So more enhancements coming within that. As far as performance, you know, I'll refer to my earlier answer that we're always improving performance now, and there's always a little bit something that's improving performance in some way.
And we'll be working on some content too to help users sort out, like, this worked one way in Legacy dynamic lighting.
Yeah.
You can still do this. It just works a different way in updated dynamic lighting, and here's how to set up all those settings. I know that the team that's been working on that has been really hard at work, just getting performance where it needed to be, getting everything to 1.0, and you know, lots of other behind the scenes work. But they're also talking about how to make sure that people are informed on the new ways to build out different lighting features. The next question is also about lighting. They want to know when we're going to implement dark vision, that is dim light, to the UDL. I know you've already said this a few times, but you can do it now.
Yeah. So it's not 5e rules as written, but it is very similar to the way that Legacy dynamic lighting handled the dark vision. In night vision, you can choose the color that vision is revealed in, and so you can give it like a gray tint or make it that dim, more dim than bright light, so it's visually different from that.
Yeah. So again, like on the dev server, everybody can go and play around with that brightness slider, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I will be doing it soon. This person is asking us that if there's a specific day of the week and time UDL updates are pushed to production, so that they can sort out like how much time the GMs that use updated dynamic lighting need to be like anticipating for planning for their session. And so maybe you can just talk a little bit about when we release code pushes.
Yeah, we typically release, like we package our releases together into a Tuesday morning release schedule. We don't, sometimes we do carry out hot fixes for particularly important bugs that we try to get, you know, before the next week's cycle or something along those lines. The dev server is updated much more frequently than production is, or the live servers are. So you can take a look at the dev server and do some of that preparation there to test it out and understand what's happening and how that might affect your games. Yeah, our release notes are posted in the forum and on the blog, so that you can see when things actually do happen too.
So this next question's about, they're asking for clarity on fog of war features for free accounts because the checkbox moved to the Legacy Dynamic Lighting tab. So they want to just know what's happening for that next.
Yeah, Fog of War will continue to be a feature available without a subscription, available to free users. The checkbox is going to move when the Legacy Dynamic Lighting is sunset.
Next up, we have a whole new category of questions. It's all about user growth and server. So the first question is asking about our dependency on Amazon, Google, and Cloudflare. and about how if one of them had connectivity issues, whether the Roll20 experience is suffering, like, you know, what we plan to do about that, basically.
So,
not a tough question at all. You know?
I mean, what do we do if Google goes down? I suppose the way that I would answer this question is that we have service level agreements from all of our vendors, be it Google, Firebase, Cloudflare, or, you know, I can't think of a vendor that people wouldn't think of, but the people who refill my soda machine. That's not true. I don't have a soda machine paid for, but if we did, we'd have a service level agreement from those people, and we can count on that. We have the assurances that those things will be able to continue, and they'll be up for a certain amount of time. We've also built in redundancies into our systems, and we built in notifications into our systems. So if there is a problem, oftentimes we're alerted to it before someone like the community at large might experience it, for sure. And yeah, Dave, you're nodding your head and are smarter than me, so I'm gonna say your name and see if you have something to add.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough problem to solve for a lot of internet services. You know, when your main cloud provider goes down, there's not a lot you could do. We could talk about the instances where Amazon's gone down and no one can access their Netflix, right? But there are ways to make investments. We have been making investments into our infrastructure with Google Cloud and the other providers you mentioned. The main thing we're looking at is going multi-region. So what that means is all these cloud providers have different data centers all across the United States and all the rest of the world as well. And so if we could spread our platform across those different regions in an effective way, if one particular data center goes down, maybe let's say in the East Coast, we can have traffic redirected to, let's say, the West Coast of the US, or directed to Europe or something like that. So those are things we are investing in now.
The same user is asking about whether we hit the limits of Amazon S3 in terms of requests per second.
No.
It looks like we did not. And also wants to know about user growth. This person, well, I guess I'm just going to spoil some things here, but that's fine. I mentioned that we're going to have the OR report come out next week. So this person's asking about that they saw during a Roll20 session recently that a player had an account number of almost 8.4 million. And they're curious if that means that we have that many users. And yeah, we grew a lot in 2020. So we are now, I think, close to 8.4 million users, or right around there or so. And let's see, they asked about how many simultaneous players we had in 2020. And my response to this is that I think we announced during Gen Con, Saturday of Gen Con last year, which was in August. Gen Con's a pretty big gaming convention that happens in Indianapolis every August, if you're not familiar. It's usually about 60,000 attendees is what they say. And we had 100,000 players that Saturday of Gen Con online on Roll20, which is really exciting. So we were bigger than downtown Indy usually is. Okay, at 1 a.m. There you go. Hi, Bunny. But then what was really cool is, I mean, that seemed massive. We had, I think, about 2,000 of the 7,000 Gen Con events happening on Roll20, which was just, I mean, for me, I have a background in board games. This just like felt like a very big milestone to me. But then in November, we actually had over 300,000 people playing online at the same time, which was even cooler. So that's the number to beat this year. I'm ready for any party that takes us over 300, 400,000 people. If you all want to try and set some records, we can try and make that happen this year and see if we can scare Dave and Kenton and everyone else at Roll20 into freaking out about those server numbers. Yeah. All right. More questions. The next one is about whether or not the Roll20 team is actively looking at the API circulating for ideas or quick ways to implement new features. This person's referencing tools like Combat Master and Health Auras that seem like they would be easy to implement and selling points to bring more people to Roll20.
Yeah, we do. My team is the product team, and we do a lot of the user research on like how to use, how people want to use Roll20, what they want to use it for. We look at, if you've posted something on the internet about Roll20, there's a very good chance that me or my team has read it. We like to do that. We like to find out. It's possible you've received an email from me directly. I have sent you an email to ask you questions about how you like Roll20, what you'd like us to fix about it. So all that to say, not only do we all do all that, but we look at the API scripts that people submit and that people use and the conversations that happen around those. I think though that one of the reasons why we don't tie a bunch of the stuff that shows up in the API into Roll20 directly is because the value of the API is letting you put that in and use it how you want in your game, and it keeps the already complex virtual tabletop a little less complex to do exactly that thing that you want it to do. You can make it as complex as you want it to at that point. So, I guess. How does that answer sit with you, Amber?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think I use the API and I see things and like, why aren't we doing this yet? But I also am internal and I see what we're actually working on and I see how important those features are to people. And I think there's, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, last year, we needed to be able to accommodate parties of 300,000 suddenly. So we focused on that for a little bit, and we still think it's really important to get a mobile app out there and to, make sure dynamic lighting's where it needs to be. So I mean, I think what's really cool about Roll20 right now is that we've grown so much that we're investing in a lot of different areas and we're developing a lot of different product teams. So we'll have more agility to tackle some of these things that we do want to see as core features more quickly now that the team is growing. Because I mean, I listed out how many people we had hired in the last, few months or so on the Proform thread that I started last month. But we're growing really quickly. We're going to have a lot of really talented new developers joining us and lots of people joining the other teams to help with QA and customer service. And I think things are just going to move more quickly now that we've, figured out what we want to do with our growth. To that end, the next question is about considering web design trends, are there UI design changes to be expected in the near future? This is my favorite question because UI is just one of my favorite things. And I think Dave's little mobile showcase was a nice indicator of things to come for the Roll20 site. Yeah. I think we definitely have our eyes on some upgraded UI for the site. We have a wonderful UX designer and anyway, Kenton, you can answer. You're the product director.
We're adding to that. Absolutely. I would underscore, and I would actually quote you, Amber, and say that, the mobile app is a promise of things to come in that arena. We are hiring user experience designers to fill out that team and to build up that throughput so that we can get more updates into the pipeline and out. So, yeah.
Okay, we had a couple of questions about Sirenscape and audio plans. So maybe we can swoop that into one conversation.
Let's do it. Let's see. Trying to find my notes now here. Audio. We don't have current plans to integrate with any of the many popular audio tools and services for playing tabletop role-playing games right now. We do have some thoughts about what we can do to enhance the jukebox and enhance the shared audio experience in that way, but no concrete plans at this time right now.
Okay, next up, can we merge duplicate topics and their votes in the suggestions and ideas forum?
No, and I don't, because those are very unique, right? And sometimes those threads go in very different directions, and so merging them together when I or one or very few people think that this is the same thing doesn't get the same kind of community opportunity, right, to have those conversations and to talk those things out. There are things that we do watch internally together, and we group them together in our mental models of them, but I don't want to put them together, like merge them and be like, this is the same idea. So yeah.
Okay, next up, is there a chance for custom compendium becoming a thing in 2021?
I can answer that. There's a chance of anything. I think that when we say custom compendium, it's not just a feature. It's not just one thing, right? Like it's a whole myriad of things. And in the suggestion and idea for that, I have a post in there laying that out. We are you can see in character sheet in the character sheet forms, we talk about something that Dave's team actually has been working on to bring character sheets into a more not necessarily modern, but a open field of browser technologies, so that they can run in many more places than just the virtual tabletop, and that can help us to get character sheets available to see and edit outside of the virtual tabletop, and that can compound, right? So I don't want to promise any one feature, but it takes a lot to get that there. And yeah.
But we also have a whole new team that's being spun
Yeah.
up just to deal with character sheet and compendium. So I think there's some really exciting things to come there this year.
Yep.
Just because there will be dedicated resources instead of splitting those people among different tasks. Okay, next question. With more VTTs coming to market, what are you doing to keep pace with features those VTTs offer?
Yeah, a lot. We have 4 teams that we formed about 6 months ago to help us create additional pathways, additional swim lanes in that way. We're expanding that into, I want to say 6 teams, but I feel like it might be 7, but 6 or 7 teams. We're growing that, and we have plans to grow more after that. We're increasing that throughput. At the same time, all the behind the scenes work that we talk about and that we work so hard on, the automated testing, the brand standards that have put together to make the UI easier to change, all of those things compound, and we get to move faster through multiple lanes. And that's what we're doing. We also have. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm skipping you, and I'm going to go straight to Dave for these. We have some mobile app questions. First off is, how soon can we expect the mobile app to be released? Because they cannot wait.
Awesome. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we're in a closed beta right now. We're looking to go into open beta before the end of this quarter, and open beta will be giving access to all of our pro users. And we don't have a public release finalized yet, but you'll definitely be hearing about progress updates through channels like this and the forums as we get closer to there. We still want to get through our open beta and again, keep getting feedback from all of you and making that experience as good as possible.
Okay, this isn't mobile, but we'll see if you want to answer it anyway. Will you be bringing Roll20 support to PlayStation and Xbox browsers?
So there's no plans on the roadmap right now for any kind of gaming consoles, but we are right now researching how we could potentially cast the VTT to a big screen to hopefully solve that problem of how could you play Roll20 in person together. So something like your groups in your living room, and you got your big screen TV, and could put the shared version of the VTT up there for all the players to see.
Yeah. That'll be really nice when people start getting together again in person. Okay, these are some random questions, and I'll let whoever wants to grab them. It might be a long shot, but is a rest option possible? Max out the HP and hit dice, refill spell slots, etc., or is that too complicated?
This is a great use of the API. There are multiple API scripts that do as much or as little as you want within that, and ask you questions along those lines. And yeah, that's what I'd say.
Okay, the next one asks if they can get token controls that set how all tokens display HP bars for a particular game. For example, they prefer their Pathfinder 2nd Edition hit point bar to be bottom overlapping. When they drag and drop a monster from the compendium, the default is to have it above.
Yes, that is totally possible. Thank you, Miles, for putting this answer in. I neglected to do it, but if you navigate to your campaign settings page and click the open up to expand the game default settings, under token defaults, you can change the bar location to one of those 4 options, one of them that you outlined in the question. And then you use the apply default settings tool, which can be found in the game at the very bottom. Okay. I would guarantee there's a Help Center article about this as well, and it looks like someone put it in. So,
last question of the pre-submitted. It's a very meta question. Why is the Roundtable on Twitch and not on Roll20? we live stream everything on Twitch. It's where people live stream. I don't know.
We have a Twitch
and then
channel.
it's really easy to grab it and put it on YouTube after. I don't know. Like you just have to go to the URL. You don't have to log in or anything if you don't want to.
That's a really good point. That you don't have to have a Twitch to watch on Twitch. I'm watching on Twitch right now. I don't have a Twitch. So yeah.
Okay. Do we have any questions from chat that we need to try and tackle? I know we're almost. We're at an hour.
We do. Yeah. Let me see really quickly if there's. Let me see what there is.
Okay.
Will the mobile app show crit or fumble styling? I'm going to ask that to Dave.
Yeah. So we're going to keep making progress and updates to the mobile app to make it feature parity with the character sheet on web. It's going to take us time to get there. As we all mentioned, how we want to make that right investment in the design of the UI and the user experience. So right now we have skills, saving throws, and abilities. Next, we're looking at how to attack attacks and spells, and we'll keep going down the list of the different features that the different character sheets have.
Yeah, and I want to point out too that the technology of the mobile app relies on the character sheets in the same way that those are done now too. So it's not just going to be Roll20 official character sheets that are supported through the mobile app, but any character sheet who wants to make that investment, I guess, is the other key. So there could be a bunch done there too.
I'm going to take the next question, which is that I'm going to pick. It says, are you ever going to get a Pathfinder 2nd edition or a Starfinder stream game up? I've been trying to make this happen since like last May. And there's a group that wants to do it. Actually, the Chaos Initiative group on Mondays who play D&D and that are also going to start playing Star Wars were interested in it. So we talked about it. It just hasn't happened yet. But Bunny can only handle so many streams at once, and our Twitch channel is running out of schedule time. But I definitely think that's a priority, and I am going to try and get to it. I know that Paizo was running some great games, and some of them used Roll20 too. So it might just be that we figure out how to host and collaborate with them to put something up. But thank you for bringing it up. We will talk about it more.
I'm going through, and a lot of the questions that came up in chat, we ended up answering through the pre-submitted questions as well. It looks like, and I will say this question out loud. Will there be any support for Starfinder Adventure Pass? And I can't remember if I said an answer to this question before, so I'm checking my notes, which is a thing.
We talked a little bit about it. We talked basically. Yeah. I mean, the reality is that like sometimes we base some of this on sales data, and so it's if they get picked up, then and people seem enthusiastic about it, that encourages us to make more of them. So right now, it's like, you know, we've done some of them, and if they haven't sold well, then we don't tend to do more of them. But it's if you tell us that you're looking for something in particular, then we'll make sure the licensing director knows about it, and we can take it into consideration. But it might be that it might be helpful if we say exactly what we're coming out with, and like, you know, maybe preview it so that people aren't wondering.
Yeah,
about doing that too.
Are there issues? Are the issues introduced by the token settings interface changes going to be addressed in the near future? I can say for sure that some of those are being worked on currently. There are others that aren't in the current iteration, but aren't scheduled to be done just yet. Haven't been taken on by the teams, however you want to phrase that from a project management perspective. But yeah, work is on those right now, as especially as updated dynamic lighting. As we move outside to the other areas where that's touched, that will be addressed as well.
I'm not sure if I understand this question. There's one that says, what is the deal on the 2:1 on images in the future? Some seem concerned about it, but no clue myself. Why are we switching, please? Does that mean the 2:1 aspect ratio on the game images? Okay. Yeah,
so the 2:1 aspect ratio was already basically the standard. It was like 2 to 1.98, and 2:1 was easier to do. Was easier for people to get to, as opposed to 2 to 2.98. some of the things that are being worked on right now too that aren't available on the dev server are helping when there's upload to show where the crop is and to make sure that those are more informative when you put the image into the campaign details page, as well as some visual, I hate the word enhancement, but visual enhancement to kind of fill that in. When it doesn't match up exactly, it won't squish or stretch, it will show the image and then fade. Is it the word? Probably not the word, but it'll fade out to the edge and fill the entire space. It'll look good is what I'm promising.
Okay. What's next? I see something about player doors. What's the one about player doors? I see we may have missed
I think that was,
something.
yeah.
In the meantime, I'll get Dave to answer a question. Dave, someone wants to know if if chat will be available in the mobile app for release.
So our initial release we're looking at is focusing just on the character sheet functionality and being able to roll from your character sheets. We do have chat on the roadmap, but it's not something that's going to be slated for that initial release.
Okay.
There was a question pre-submitted about when will player interactable doors be available, and that's something that we're aware of and we know is going to be really cool, but it takes it's more effort than some of the other things that I mentioned as enhancements, and so those will come first. Yeah.
Cool. How much time do we have left? Are we overtime already?
We are 7 minutes over, so we should pick like the last question.
Okay. This one is interesting to me. Are there any updates on finding basic assets when searching for maps, tokens, and such by typing specific tags into the search box? They think it's working not as well as it used to. But that's interesting.
I'm not aware of any changes that are happening in that to make it not work as well as it was, but the virtual tabletop team is working on moving out from just lighting into those other areas, and one of them is that all the areas that are in that sidebar. So we'll be doing research into that for sure. And if you've had a problem, then sending in a support request or making a note of it would be helpful to find that.
Okay. I think we've done a lot of questions. There's still more, but also I don't know about you guys.
I have my pretzels right here that have been taunting me. So yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Well, thank you all so much for coming and for listening to Amber grill me and to sharing in that wonderful thank you Amber and Dave for being here. Thank you Bunny for putting this on.
This is
Dave's
a monthly
first
thing. Twitch stream. So thank you Dave for being brave and going live with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
And I mean, I suppose that's how it's an uneventful end, but what we could do pets. I don't have any pet. I have a plant. Would you like to see my plant? See, I got some new leaves coming in. Pepperamona plant. I love these. I don't think Amber is appreciating this part of the stream nearly as much as I am.
But what I'm going to pretend is a plant.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna pitch a board game for Valentine's Day. This is going to be my pet. This is a game called Flatter Me. It's by a friend, Amy Bio, and it's a compliment battle card game, and it's really lovely if you're looking for a gift for Valentine's Day.
That sounds like a lot of fun, but I also feel like my group of friends or family would turn it into like backhanded compliment game.
You need a therapist in the version in the medium of a card games to keep you all on track. It's such a nice thing to be able to like hand someone a card. It's like, oh look, you're glitter.
Oh, okay.
Nice?
So they're already there. You hand it to that person. Okay, so it's pre-prepared for you. No, that would be really good for me.
Do be nice to everyone else. Yeah, it's lovely.
Because I can't be like your glitter.
It's all about the inflection.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for attending the stream. Look for the question request to come in the next couple of weeks for next month, and we'll see you all then.